Hi, this is Kenneth and Heather with the Advancing Equity Coalition, here to give you a new update on contract negotiations that are just starting in Minneapolis Public Schools for the 2021-2023 contract. How are you doing today, Heather?
I'm good, thanks.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm sure you weren't hoping to spend your birthday eve listening to contract negotiations, but we're glad you did and we're glad you're here.
I mean, you and I are probably the only people in this city that we know we're going to be doing this consistently, right?
So, if you love our videos, we're going to be doing quick updates, trying to give you three quick takeaways from each negotiation session between the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers and Minneapolis Public Schools, mainly because we think that the contract between those two is one of the most important investments in the education of students in Minneapolis, and also because it's one of the biggest policy packages. And so we want to make sure we are staying on top of it and we can give you all good updates, good information as it's happening so that you can stay aware of the major discussions that impact our students across the city.
Yeah, and we know, I mean, I think one of the things that's interesting is we know that white supremacy lives and breathes within the walls of our institutions here in Minneapolis public schools. We know that we inherited a lot of policies that were racist in their intentions and in their impacts. And so as we enter into contract negotiations, kind of heard last night both sides acknowledging that they have the same goal, that they'd like to see some of these things change. How we get there, I think there's some disagreement on, but I do think it's important to recognize that, like, we have to change what we inherited as racist in order to get somewhere close to anti-racism.
Exactly. So, with that, here are our takeaways. My first big takeaway was that the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers said in their guiding statements that they really wanted to focus on impact versus intent. And I think that's really important because we know that the path to hell is paved with good intentions. And so we want to see what are the outcomes of what we're trying to do and how's that impacting students, how's that impacting teachers, how's that impacting our community. I think that's a really important thing for us to continually have a close eye on as contract negotiations start to unfold.
Yeah, and then from the district side, Senior Officer Moore asked the union's bargaining unit to consider grounding the work in the language of the climate framework that we've been working on inside of our district for the last few months, really creating those 4 belief statements that are going to help influence climate and culture. And, so really kind of asking, and what I heard was a lot of like, let's behave in this negotiation process as an example to the students that we all seek to serve. Was kind of what I heard both sides saying. Even though they didn't necessarily agree on grounding belief statements last night, sounds like we're pretty close.
Yep. And I thought that was important to just have like a unifying umbrella that we're all operating under. The climate framework isn't just for schools, it's for every way that the Minneapolis community, Minneapolis Public Schools community interacts with each other. So I think that was really important. So our final takeaway was really the stark difference in tone that we've seen take place between the district and the union up until this point, and then last night was just a completely different thing. So in the past, we've talked about it. It's felt really adversarial. It's felt really gross and just uncomfortable. But last night there was a real there was hope. It felt like there's a sense of hope. There's a sense of collaboration. People were going out of their way to be polite and thanking each other, which I thought was notable. And I think, and also I think the union acknowledged that, at times there has been an adversarial tone to the way that they've interacted with each other, and they want to move forward and they don't want that to be a part of this negotiation. We'll see how that unfolds. I think it's important to, just note that it was very different last night, but there wasn't, beyond just the quick note around how it has been adversarial, there wasn't a real unpacking of why it's been adversarial or what we're going to do differently. And so I think it'll just be important to keep track of and just, be aware of as these negotiations really start to dig in and we start to talk about hard things.
We shall see. It was a short meeting. We'll see how they go. We'll be keeping you updated. We've got the meetings on our calendar. So we'll be staying in the room as long as these meetings stay public.
Yep. Once again, Heather, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining me to do this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Bye.